I want to squeeze in one last history lesson before we leave this place. Let's go back to the 1890s, a few short decades after Smith was founded. Doctors had identified a never-before-seen medical malady, one that threatened to wreak havoc on the entire female population. That condition was called bicycle face. You see, the original bicycle had one gigantic wheel in the front and one tiny little wheel in the back. Imagine a hula hoop and a dinner plate. Not easy to ride. But then along comes this revolutionary concept. Two wheels of the same size. Go figure. The power of equality, baby. And as a result, cycling takes off. And it takes off in Europe and North America, and it takes off for women. But with the rise of women riding the bicycle comes the rise of bicycle face. Here are the symptoms of this terrifying condition. These are direct quotes, by the way. Flushed cheeks, hard clenched jaw, bulging eyes, an expression that is either anxious, irritable, or at best, stony. That's right. Long before there was resting bitch face, there was resting bike face. Now here's the thing. It wasn't just women who were riding bicycles. In fact, the majority of those who had taken up the hobby were men. But bicycle face? That was strictly a woman's disease. Why? Because bicycle face was invented to purely scare women off their wheels. Here's what was really going on. Back then, the bicycle became a symbol for a growing feminist movement. All of a sudden, women could go further and faster, and they didn't need to wait around for a gentleman to show up with his horseback and give them a ride. Suffragists could now meet with one another from town to town, and they would take their signs and they would affix them to the front of their handlebars. Because of the bicycle, women even started wanting different clothes. Victorian hoop skirts? Psh, so last season. Women wanted breezy bloomers, better for pedaling. As one magazine wrote in 1896, to men, the bicycle was merely just a new toy. But to women, it was the steed upon which they rode into the new world. Of course, it wasn't long before men started seeing bikes as more than just a new toy too. To them, bicycles and the behavior they were enabling with women were jarring, dangerous, threatening to the status quo. More than a century later, we can see bicycle face for what it is, or what it was. Not a medical mistake, but a deliberate tool, a strategy wielded by powerful men to put women back in their place, to make us stop pedaling. The notion of bicycle face was debunked by Dr. Sarah Hackett Stevenson. She was the first ever woman admitted to the American Medical Association. She didn't tell women to fix their bicycle face, and she certainly didn't tell them to stop pedaling. She challenged the entire premise. When as many as 82% of women report feeling imposter syndrome, it's hard to believe that this is just about individuals. Imposter syndrome is the result of structural inequality, not individual inadequacy. Look, I've sat across from some powerful dudes, CEOs, presidents, senators, you name it. And that experience has truly been a gift. Not because they are smarter than I am, but because they're not. I told you about the hundreds of thousands of girls that I've taught to code. Well, any one of them could run circles around these dudes. But it took me 30 years to learn this lesson. And this is why I'm sharing it with you today, because right here, right now, I need you to know this. It's never been about whether we're qualified enough, smart enough, prepared enough. If you are here today, it is because you are. Instead, it's always been about the political, the financial, the culture barriers that are designed to keep us out of these rooms in the first place. It's leaders who look around and tell women the biggest problem facing you is not childcare or paid leave or misogyny. The biggest problem is you. Which is all to say that imposter syndrome, it's a distraction. It's a strategy. It's a way to keep our concentration on our own alleged inadequacies so we don't turn it towards the sexism, the racism, the classism, the homophobia, the transphobia that is baked into the system in the first place. Which means our job is to stay focused, to focus less on fixing ourselves and more on healing a broken world. Now, for many of you, I know this work is not new. Marginalized people, women of color, we've been leading the fight against systematic injustice for generations. And your generation has been fighting the status quo your whole lives. So here is the task ahead of you, class of 2023. Is to know that you are more than good enough so that you can dedicate your precious, limited time on the things that aren't. My great hope is that you will want to take up this work, that you will want to build a better world than the one you inherited. And I am absolutely certain that you are up to the task because your Smith education has prepared you for this moment. This is a special place. For the past 4 years, you've been part of a community where no team captain, no club president, no valedictorian has ever been held back because of their gender. And I know it's bittersweet to leave that behind, but consider this. You've had a tiny glimpse of what the world could be, what it should be. Now bring that audacity, that agency, that authenticity to the world beyond Northampton. Because you are uniquely qualified to make that world a reality. Imposter syndrome is modern day bike face. My hope is that one day Smithies of the future will see them both as equally laughable. Just 2 more failed attempts to hold us back. Getting there, though, will be the work of a lifetime. But I believe that there's one thing you can do today on this first day of the new chapter of your life and every day moving forward. Just ride your bicycle. And what I mean by that is pursue what you want to pursue. As if imposter syndrome is just 2 made-up words on a page, because they are. Do your work. Make your argument. Lead your movement. Because there's nothing wrong with you. It's not your job to fix yourself, but it is your job to fix the system. And from everything I've heard about this class, you're going to do a damn good job doing it because you have what it takes to lead. And you have an entire community. Because if you fall, they are right here to pick you up. So start pedaling. Feel the sun on your face. Feel the wind in your hair. Feel the joy. Feel the freedom. Feel the love.